Women and queen mothers in the Northwest region have prayed for an end to the frequent killing of innocent people on account of the socio-political crisis rocking the Northwest and Southwest regions.
Father, we are not discouraged because we know you are alive.
In an ecumenical prayers at the Bamenda Grandstand, preaching from Psalms 1, Reverend Memo Caroline of Shekinah Glory Missions lamented on the point that God will not delight in the wicked, but the righteous.
Delight in the wicked. He has no delight in them. Those who stand in bad places that grieve people's hearts, who are sadists, God is not happy about them. All what we are telling them to disease, God is always ready to forgive them because God is a God of passion. He hates sin, but He loves sinners. So we need to come back to God as a person, as an individual, to cry unto God. And we were here asking God to forgive them for the things they have done. If they only open their hearts, God is ready to soften their hearts.
Encourage the mothers and queen mothers to trust and put their delight in Christ at this challenging time, adding that man cannot give a solution to the problem rocking the two Anglophone regions, but God alone. So they should cultivate the spirit of praying as they trust God for the solution to the crisis.
We always gather here every 24th January to pray for the nation, pray for our children, pray for ourselves. Since on the 24th at Babu, even here again yesterday for PSS Map. So we are praying for the children so that God should guide the children. God should protect us, protect the children, and touch the heart of those who are doing all this killing so that they can change their mind and come back to normal sense so that we'll continue to live the life that we were living in Cameroon.
The women say the wanton loss of lives is causing untold suffering that warrants for divine intervention as they yearn for peace, calling on the separatists to drop down their arms and stop the violence.
In collaboration with the British High Commission Yaoundé, Strategic Humanitarian Services (SHUMAS) has donated some COVID-19 kits to Government Bilingual High School GBHS Grand Souza in Fiko Subdivision, Mongo Division of the Littoral Region of Cameroon. Led by its Director General, SHUMAS created the Health, Water and Sanitation Club, installed 4 hand washing stations in the school, as well as provided 1,400 durable face masks for students and teachers.
We have 4 modern tippy taps with liquid soap, about 80 liters of liquid soap, and 4 hand washing facilities. And we've also given them 30 bags of rice. We've given them 2 thermoflash. We've given them 1,400 masks, and then also the sensitization and education material tools that they will use. And then we've also set the health and water and sanitation committee here in the school. And what we have done is that, there is one key issue about projects, sustainability of projects. So we have implicated the local authority. You here see with me the chief of Grand Society. They are here with me, and the traditional authorities are implicated. The school authority administration is implicated, and then we've set a committee that is going to run the school.
Some basic food items, such as rice, were also given to some IDP students in the institution.
I come from Kumba. I am grateful that they have given this food for us. I'm satisfied because in our house there are not food in our house, and I'm grateful that he has given us something to eat.
We are very grateful for the food given to us from the British Commissioner, that the food can help us and serve us for some number of days. We pray that may God continue to bless him in abundance.
Sonne Martin Young is the principal of Government Bilingual High School Grand Souza.
Honestly, I am a happy principal. Happy for the sense that we have had, in fact, a particular person who had put smiles on orphans' faces. Today, I'm a happy person, honestly, because these students are going back home now. At least yesterday they were orphans, but today at least they have a father, they have a mother, they have somebody who can think about them, who can think about their difficulties, who can share their suffering somewhere.
Schumas is a developmental, non-governmental organization that focuses on humanitarian response and integrated sustainable development with over 24 years of existence in Cameroon.
The Democratic Union of Cameroon, led by Patrician Damjoya, mayor of Fumban, has made a series of condemnations in a communique released recently. To begin with, it denounces a fallacious representation of the Noon population at the Regional Council office. According to the press release, within the Regional Council office, of the 20 seats that belong to the Noon, 17 are from the UDC and 3 from the Traditional Command. In addition to this technical defect mentioned by the party, the non-respect of Article 276 of the Code on Decentralization, which speaks of respect for the sociological component of the region, is equally being denounced. The political party castigates the fact that a monarchical tendency is taking shape in the Noon, where its elected officials, although in the majority, are despised, objectified, and constantly unfairly fought by an incestuous and paradoxical coalition of traditional authority and of some who exercise the power of the state in the division, yet supposed to defend the law and the republican order. Again, the communique condemns the use of positions of power of the CPDM members for political settlement and the already proven instrumentalization of the Regional Council for politicians' objectives. It is important to note that during the regional meetings of December 6, 2020, the UDC won 17 seats in competition in the Noon department. Ultimately, within the bureau, the UDC feels left out.
It was about 7:15 a.m. on Wednesday, January 27, 2021. The denizens of Azurinew Church Junction, a precinct in Bamenda Northwest region of Cameroon, say they heard 2 loud explosions. I was walking towards Atuakom Junction together with the kids who were heading to school.
All of a sudden, I hear a sound.
Suddenly, I heard a loud sound about 150 kilometers from where I was. Upon hearing the sound, I rushed back home and later discovered it was an explosion and it exploded around the school. In the early hours of today, residents say they heard 2 loud explosions which left many in shock. I was preparing the kids for school this morning and heard a loud explosion. The moment I stepped out to know what is happening, another one exploded. I'm just grateful pupils and students were not around. An eyewitness say the local explosive was placed under a small bridge, and when it exploded, his house trembled. The bomb was placed under a bridge, and when it exploded, my house trembled. The explosion left many panicking, including children set for school. Finally, I did not send my kids to school. Though no casualties were recorded, sources around where the explosive was kept say the sound was terrifying.
Accident that has claimed the lives of 53 persons, with 29 severely injured, occurred in the early hours of this morning at the Chang Sancho Hill, Minwa Division, and was as a result of the shock from a collision between a tank truck and the Minwa Voyage 70-seater bus. Following the violent shock, fire engulfed the scene of the tragedy, where many have been burnt to ashes, preventing first aid from intervening. According to Governor of the West Region, Awafonka Augustine, the injured are seriously burnt and the truck carrying gasoline had a braking fault. Sources equally say the tank truck was being escorted by some gendarme and custom officials driving on high speed, who are presently nowhere to be found. Here is a list of passengers of the 70-seater bus and 29 survivors. including 4-month-old child presently admitted at the Chang District Hospital. This is not the first time that a fatal accident is being recorded on the Chang Sancho Hill. Remember, on Friday 30th, 2019, where 3 people lost their lives in this same spot due to a collision between a taxi and a semi-trailer. The fatal accident this morning adds to a series of accidents recorded since the start of this year. This situation, again, calls for the vigilance of drivers and road users.
C'est au petit matin de mardi qu'un incendie a emporté la vie d'une mère et de son enfant a été observé dans la ville de Kribi. Incident probablement causé par une bouteille de gaz qui aurait explosé en laissant le père de cette famille dans une situation inconsolable. Le voisinage n'en a eu effet du drame que trop tard, après que les flammes aient dévoré toute la maison. Dépourvues de force, elles ont été obligées de faire appel aux autorités compétentes pour arriver à stopper le brasier.
Je pense que c'est depuis 7 heures ce matin que j'ai été informé. Alors que je m'apprêtais à me rendre au boulot, j'ai été signalé par mon fils qui vient vers moi et me dit « Papa, il y a un incendie grave qui se passe pas loin de la maison ». Très immédiatement, je me suis rendu sur le lieu. J'ai trouvé que la situation avait pris des proportions très élevées et le feu était inutilisable. J'ai essayé rapidement d'être en contact avec le sapeur-pompier. J'ai appelé le maire de la ville, j'ai appelé le maire de Kéli deuxième. Et puis je suis venu sur le terrain. Grâce à l'intervention forte de la population, nous avons tout au moins réussi à maîtriser à notre niveau. Mais il a fallu l'intervention des sapeurs-pompiers qui n'ont pas tardé à arriver sur le lieu. Et je crois que peu à peu, ils ont réussi à maîtriser la situation.
Malgré l'intervention prompte des sapeurs-pompiers, rien n'a pu être sauvé dans la maison, ni la mère, ni l'enfant, et encore moins le mobilier. C'est une tragédie qui vient s'ajouter à la liste de nombreux autres observés dans le pays depuis le début de ce mois de janvier 2021.
Joki Hannah Judith, the first-year student from the University of Chang, had inquired from her friends via the social media platform WhatsApp about different kinds of poison she could use and if rat poison was dangerous for humans hours before taking away her life. Curious of her inquiries, her friend, as seen on messages, sought to know the reasons for her interest in poisons, and the concerned retorted that it was a task given her, a task still unclear, but Hannah would later be found dead after consuming rat poison. Reports have it that Hannah's parents, informed of the death of their daughter, immediately took the road to Chang 2 days ago and are amongst the victims of the tragic incident at the Chang Sanchu Cliff, which has caused the lives of 53 persons and 29 injured. A tragic incident leading to another in a Seoul family. The situation has left internet users in shock, with many wondering on the happenings in the country.
The head of state has in a message sent condolence words to families of those who perished in the ghastly road accident along the Sanchu-Chang stretch in the early hours of Wednesday, January 27. The same message was equally transmitted to the 29 survivors currently responding to treatment in some hospitals in Chang and Bafoussam. Our Fonka Augustine, governor of the West Region, was a bearer of the president's condolence message. The governor visited the injured victims at the Chang District Hospital and the Bafoussam Regional Hospital and took some time off to comfort each of the victims on their hospital beds.
About 3:30 a.m. this morning, there was a head-on collision between a 70-seater bus belonging to Menua Voyage coming from Douala heading towards Chang, as well as a mini truck that was carrying fuel heading towards the opposite direction. As a result, both vehicles caught fire, and as at now, we've registered 53 dead and 29 persons seriously wounded with second-degree burns. They have respectively been carried to the regional hospital in Bafoussam as well as the district hospital in Chang for the wounded, and for those who are dead, they are not identified because given the circumstances, they were all burnt. I want to think that, first of all, around this area at about 3 a.m. It's cloudy, and secondly, found out that with the mini truck, it had a problem of brake failure.
The bus driver, Kana Rene, on his part, managed to explain his own side of the story and how he miraculously survived the accident.
As soon as I started ascending the hill, I reduced speed as it should be in those areas. Then at a bend, I saw a truck coming down the opposite direction on high speed. He left his side of the road and bumped into us. I just saw flames. I was traumatized. I don't even know how I came out.
This other survivor equally explained his ordeal.
My colleagues are in the they are distracted. Yeah. So they asked me to get them some door so that they clean small bottles. So I looked around, so I went back to Dollar.
It should be noted that all those wounded in this unfortunate incident are being taken care of by the government, and the Ministry of Transport is expected to make a declaration after receiving results of the findings already prescribed.
Pupils of Nursery 2 at the Antijo Bilingual Nursery and Primary School Douala Littoral region of Cameroon will no longer see the smiling face again, tutoring them following the death and burial of their teacher, as this witness now recounts.
It happened it was with the children in class. As they were making noise, so she decided to hit the bench. She happened to hit one of the child and give a small cut on the head. Unfortunately, she did not go with the child to the office in order that they could clean the child's head. When the parent of the child saw it, he came and then the child was taken care of, and we knew that that was the end of the problem.
But was this really the end of the problem?
The next day, which was Wednesday, the father of the said child came that morning. Immediately as we were entering the classroom after devotion, the father came with the child, and the father was looking for the teacher. The parent passed into the teacher's classroom and wanted to hit the lady in class.
On her part, all attempts to stop the said Miss Tangamini from trespassing administrative orders proved futile.
I saw the parent entering. I rushed outside in order to block her not to enter the class. That's when she was asking the child, "Is this your teacher?" The child said no. As I was telling him to go outside, and then that we should not, that he has no right to come into the teacher's classroom to just begin to ask questions in that manner. As I was pushing him to stand outside, they said madam. She was coming after me. Immediately the madam came. The child pointed that this is the madam. So the man held the madam and then slapped her twice on the left jaw. So then fourthly, one of my colleagues, he ran into the man and held him. So that's how we separated. There was no further beating.
Emanating from two slaps, the story unfortunately now takes a sadder twist.
The following morning, madam came to school and then she started misbehaving. She was not talking normally, and that's how we had to rush with her home and then consulted and the family had to rush with her to the hospital.
3 days after the deed had been done, all measures to contact the perpetrator were successful, not until the death of the now deceased teacher was announced.
So the man accepted. I did it, but I didn't do it with intention. That it was just anger. So the man said, okay, if that be the case, then you follow us to the hospital so that you can see the case, how she's doing. Maybe you just talk some words to her, it will be okay. So since then they exchanged contact, and that's how the man went there once that same day, and then the following day, though he did not see the said brother. So since then to today, we have not seen the man and we don't know anything, but the colleague is dead and we are buried.
As of now, Mr. Ngameni Nathan, the father to the injured pupil, still remains at large. Meanwhile, the Wuri Divisional Inspectorate of Basic Education is handling the matter, which is expected to be channeled to the judiciary.
A regional conference on diversity and rights in the northwest region of Cameroon held 26 January 2021 at the Ayaba Hotel Bamenda on bridging the gap, safeguarding peace and human rights by promoting intercultural dialogue in the northwest region of Cameroon.
We can influence a lot of policy, we can influence a lot of action, we can influence behavior change, and I think this conference provides us with a platform.
Organized by Moskuda and Nowefo, the conference out vote to evaluate the third phase of the project entails bringing the Mbororos and the local communities to sit and dialogue. Funded by the European Union through United Purpose, Northwest Program Director of the Mbororo Social and Cultural Development Association, Mboskuda, Sally Jango, expressed the 3 years project initiated has resulted in greater cultural dialogue and peace.
Thank God that we are able to make progress with the support of our partners and the collaborators. You know, the idea of cultural diversity, cultural rights, and cultural tolerance, you know, like it's a new concept to so many people, especially our rural communities. And one of the things that we have done successfully is to sensitize people on the need to understand the culture of each other and know that people have right to their culture, even if you, who is not part of that culture, don't like it. But also people need to have that culture, that mindset to tolerate other people's culture so that people can live in peace.
Unlike Northwest Coordinator of Nowefo, Njeng Jemen, people fully understand cultural rights because of the projects and what is expected of them.
Before this project, most of the farmers, the grazers, they really did not understand why the Mbororos or the non-Mbororo crop farmers behaved in a certain way. But through this project, we're able to bring the women, we brought youth differently, we even brought journalists, we brought the civil society members, and together we're able to present to them some of those differences between the both cultures and what they can do to make sure that the two cultures collaborate.
Northwest Governor Altof Lele Lafri, who chaired the conference, described the rich cultural diversity of the Northwest region and ASED, said the initiative is in line with government quest to bring back normalcy to the region.
The good relationship between the Boro community and the natives will certainly increase the coming back to normalcy in the Northwest region. And therefore, congratulating Boskuda and alongside the other partners, the European Union, who have championed this process.
Key highlights of the event was the presentation and testimony by some beneficiaries of the project and stakeholders in promoting intercultural dialogue.
At a time when the acquisition of passports in Cameroon seems so difficult and remains an uphill task, these documents have been found around the government high school Ngwaikele neighborhood in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. This young man is shocked, just like many Cameroonians should be, after having found this pile of passports dumped here recklessly, with most of them still valid up till 2022. Sources say concerns have been raised as to how these valid and most treasured documents in Cameroon got to this area and why valid passports will be dumped into trash, while Cameroonians are quite frustrated trying to secure passports at the Yaoundé immigration centers. It is sad that Cameroonians pay huge sums of money to secure ordinary passports and have to wait for over 7 months and even more, and sometimes end up never seeing the documents. No reason has been established why these passports were dumped here, and no one knows who did the act. But what is clear is that some Cameroonians have paid to acquire their passports and may never secure them because they were dumped. It should be noted that thousands of Cameroonians have been left stranded along the corridors of immigration offices after having paid in good amounts of money just to secure a passport. Sometimes, many Cameroonians have had to pay for the express service, which costs 150,000 CFA francs and even more, but still cannot acquire the documents on time, despite the rush and scramble to acquire the precious documents.
L'amélioration de la qualité des investissements du FECOM, du projet de CDT, c'est le thème qui a sous-tendu les travaux présidés par le gouverneur de la région de l'Est, Grégoire Vongo, dans la salle des actes du FECOM de Bertois, où ont pris part certains maires concernés par ces travaux, le représentant du FECOM Est, ainsi que les opérateurs économiques, ce jeudi 28 janvier 2021. Il en ressort que certains travaux exécutés dans les communes de Salapumbe, Moluno et Ngoïla tardent toujours à être livrés par les entreprises adjudicatrices des 10 projets qui auraient pris la clé des champs.
On va faire le point sur les projets à problème et essayer donc de trouver ensemble, mutualiser nos énergies pour essayer d'apporter les solutions concrètes et même concertées, n'est-ce pas, pour faire avancer les projets et les réceptionner définitivement.
Le gouverneur a prescrit la résiliation pure et simple des contrats avec ces entreprises véreuses qui freinent le développement de la région de l'Est. Toutefois, il appelle les maires, maîtres d'ouvrage et des projets à mieux examiner les entreprises qui soumissionnent à des projets du BIP afin d'écarter les aventuriers dans le secteur des marchés publics.
Comment faire avancer ces projets? Il faudrait déjà l'implication même des maîtres d'ouvrage, que ces maîtres d'ouvrage puissent s'impliquer personnellement pour le suivi. Vous savez que habituellement la maîtrise d'œuvre n'est pas souvent sur le terrain. Et si un maire suit personnellement l'évolution des travaux, il pourrait donc anticiper, n'est-ce pas, sur ces problèmes.
Rappelons que cette 5e session de commission mixte chargée du suivi et du contrôle de l'exécution des projets financés par le FECOM dans les collectivités territoriales décentralisées a vu la participation des délégués régionaux du ministère des Travaux publics et celui du marché public, chargés respectivement du suivi et du contrôle des dits travaux.
After the tragic accident that claimed the lives of over 53 people, Cameroonians have again bowed to sad news from the west, east and central regions of the country. Reports early this morning confirms yet another accident at the Batie Cliff in the Upper Plateau division of the West region. The accident involved another transport bus and a truck. The poorly stationed truck was hit from behind by the bus. At least 3 people were seriously injured, with one person losing his leg. The injured are currently in the hospital receiving treatment. Meanwhile, at least 2 people were confirmed dead yesterday in a road accident on the National Road Number 1, linking Gaundere and Bertois in the east. The deceased Squadron Commander Hassan Garga and cousin crashed into a caterpillar. The blue car, damaged beyond recognition, was on top speed. With the severe shock, the driver and passenger died instantly. Still in the East region, a set of twins were crushed to death on Thursday, January 28, 2021. The kids were hit by a vehicle transporting wood within the town. On their way to the market, the third victim was immediately rushed to the hospital. And in the Central region, a student of biochemistry at the University of Yaoundé 1 was attacked and killed yesterday by armed robbers. According to reports, Michael Mpena-Lada was stabbed by armed robbers on her way home back from school. Her only crime known to the world is that she resisted handing over her mobile phone. She was rushed to the hospital where she gave up due to loss of blood.